running on this Magicycle Deer here. So I've already tried to do this ride twice now. So the day that we built the bike, the hurricane was up in Maine. I'm in New Hampshire, so it's right next door. And we had wind and rain, and I couldn't take it out then. So that ride was no good. And I tried taking it out a little bit later, and it was still windy out. And the wind was screwing up the microphones too much. So Sunday I went out for a ride, and I don't know, something happened with the cameras, and I ended up with both microphones not working. So I've changed my microphones. I'm only running one camera today, but I want to get out here. It's pretty windy again, but I want to get out here and ride this bike. And I can tell you, you know, like I said, I put 21 miles on it the other day. I'm pretty impressed with this bike, but I wanted to get out here and let you guys see it. This thing, so 20 miles an hour is very comfortable on this bike. I'm pedaling along now. I've got to stop for a light, of course. All right. Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with this bike. It's got really good hill climbing abilities. I mean, even in, so I actually did a hill, and it was a 8-degree hill. And I went up it in pass one with just a throttle only, and it took me right up at it about 12 to 15 miles an hour. So we'll try to find a hill. There is a hill coming up. I can go down it, probably turn around and come back up it, give you an idea of what we can do with it. So like I said, 20 miles an hour is a nice ride on this bike, nice canvas. A little slow for what I want to do, but you know, like I said, I go out there and I do some pretty good mileage, so I am going to be changing this thing out. But if you like to travel under 20 miles an hour, and I got to tell you, this bike is quiet. I really, everything's tight on it, it's quiet. It's extremely nice. I'm at 29 miles, 31 miles an hour now, going down this hill. It's a pretty good hill. I'm at 30. This is the hill I said I try to, so we're gonna knock it down here. And I'm gonna knock the pedal assist down to 1. So we'll see if we can go up this hill in pass 3 here, and just throttle only. And as you can see, it's going to go right up it. I'm at 11 miles an hour now, 15 miles an hour, 17 miles an hour, 19, 22. I do have this bike unlocked to a class 3, 24 miles an hour. 24, it's going to hold that. All the way up the hill, 24.1, 24.2, we're cresting the hill now. So, like I said, this bike's pretty impressive with the power. We'll see what we can do up the other side of this thing. I don't know what this hill is. I could take a reading, but it's pretty busy on the road. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm guessing it's around I don't know, 12 degree hill or something. So I'm pedaling right now because I'm coming to the bottom of it. And I'm gonna drop this back down into 1, and I'm just gonna hit the throttle only from a stop. I'm gonna stop, and I'm gonna hit the throttle. So right now we're going up the hill and we're gaining speed. We're only at 3 miles an hour, 4, 11, 12, 11. It's struggling, but it's 11.5 miles an hour, throttle only, and 1. Let me knock it up to 2 and see what happens. 2 seems to be the same. 3 is picking up a little bit. So 3 is going up at 13 miles an hour, 15, 15.5. That's in past 3, 16 miles an hour. And we're gonna crest this hill again. We're at 27 now, 28, 31, 32, 30, almost 33 miles an hour. It was 32.9 going down the hill. I'm not impressed with on this bike yet is the battery. But it's a new battery. It's only really cycled through once. Takes a couple cycles for them to get in their peak, performance. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm adding another battery to this thing anyways, but I was kind of hoping to get a good 60 miles out of the 2 batteries. But we'll see what happens. I did 21 the last time I went out, and it was, I think there was 3 bars left. I didn't fully charge the battery. Right now it's sitting at 78%. So what else can I tell you how this bike rides? Like I said, first of all, I thought it was going to be a much harder bike to maneuver because of the larger tires. I'm not used to 26-inch rims. I'm used to 20s. So in the 20, it's on a 26 once before that I bought my first e-bike, and I was uncomfortable with it, and I ended up selling it. And it was a pretty nice bike though, but it wasn't where I was at the time. And now this thing seems great, and the full suspension on this thing is awesome. So I have suspension seat posts on most of my bikes, and it's worked out pretty good, but it's not perfect. And this thing here, I was riding the other day, and I'm like, wow, I don't even notice I mean, you hit a bump, you're hitting a bump, but I mean, it's very comfortable. It's just kind of a slow bounce, or it's nice. Like I said, that's the whole reason why I got this bike, is I wanted to do the full suspension on the road. So I'm going along, like I said, 20 miles an hour is the sweet spot on this bike. Because right now, and I'm pedaling downhill too, 16, 17, the motor's not kicking in at all. So the motor cuts out at, and I'm kind of surprised on that, because my other bikes, all the way up until 28 miles an hour, they assist when I'm pedaling. This just seems to cut out when I hit a certain speed, and I thought it was done by percentages. So there would only be 50% of the power, but the power would be there at all times. I don't know, I'll have to look into it more. So, like I said, it seems to top out and not give any assistance when you hit that speed. So, I mean, all these bike manufacturers have a little bit different tweak to their camber sensors. I know, I want to say Aventon had one, but I don't think it is Aventon, but they have one that acts a little bit more like a torque sensor. And possibly that's what they're using on this bike. So the wattage on this thing, there is a meter with the wattage. Now presently, I'm in 6th gear, pedaling slightly uphill, and it's saying I've got between 3, well, now I'm going downhill, so it's dropping, but it's around 329 to 350 in watts. Right now I'm pedaling and it's saying about 170, and I'm going 16 miles an hour, so I guess it doesn't feel like the motor's there, but it is working. Now I'm going up a hill. I'm gonna shift down. So it's saying it's at 720 right now. I definitely feel, I mean, I love this bike, but I feel that past 5 was what I was really comfortable in. I've been trying to stay in 4 to see what the difference is. And, you know, for my style of riding, a little faster pace, this is probably, 4 is not going to cut it for me. Like I said, though, I am going to change the gearing on the back on the freewheel. I'm changing that to an 1134, so I'm going to get a lower low gear, and I'm going to get a higher high gear. So that'll pick up the speed on the canvas a little bit. So my canvas will be slower at the same speed. And then I'm also changing the sprocket on, well, the crankset. I'm changing it from a 53, which is a pretty good size sprocket. And I almost think the 53 sprocket, if you were truly using this as a mountain bike, like I said, I don't know, almost a 100-pound bike for a mountain bike. I don't know. But if you were using it for a mountain bike, they would probably be, a pretty aggressive sprocket. You might want to actually make it smaller. I think that's why they originally came out on these bikes with a smaller sprocket, and then they increased them to the 53. So a lot of bike manufacturers do the 52 on the electric bikes, and they probably said, well, let's go one better, we'll go 53. So, but like I said, I'm going to 58 on it. It's gonna give me more high end again. I like to go out. I mean, here it is tonight. It's 6:07 at this point, and I did look. The sunset is 6:45. So, I got less than 40 minutes till the sun's down. So, I don't know what else I could tell you with this bike. It's a really good bike. I can't tell you how happy I am with it. There's some things I want to change, but my thumb throttle finally came. I haven't had a chance to put that on yet. Not that I use the throttle, but I do use it when I take off. You get to an intersection, you don't want to sit there and try to pedal your way through. We kind of just rolled through some hills there, and the battery level is down to 72 now. But believe it or not, we've come 2.2 miles since I last said that, so. So I'm going down this hill on pedal. I'm doing 25. The watt meter says 0. So yeah, this thing is not putting out any power past a certain percentage. So I'm still slowing down, I'm pedaling. Okay, it's kicked in at about 21 miles an hour, the motor went on. And like I said, I did make this thing a level 3 bike. So it's unlocked. So it should, the throttle, see if the throttle will do 28, they claim. I tried it the other day. The best I got was 26 out of it, I think. We're up to 23 now. Almost to 24. I don't know if it's going to make it because we're going up a hill again. Nah, it's dropping down now. But we are going up a hill. back to pedaling now. So I have a little, every once in a while the shifter, without touching it, will try to hit another gear, and I probably have to dial the derailleur in a little bit, but it's not bad. I mean, it's something you wouldn't even notice, but every, I don't know, 6 miles or something, it goes click, like it's trying to go in another gear. So, oh, it just did it again. And I'm up in 7th, so it might be trying to jump up into to 6th gear. Could be trying to jump off the freewheel too. But I mean, that's just a matter of, I lay down the back of the bike and I try to pedal it with my hands while I'm watching. If I'm lucky, I get my wife to go down there and pedal it while I'm looking at it and trying to adjust it, because you really got to adjust it while you're moving it. Otherwise, you're gonna move the screws, and then you're gonna look at it when you pedal it, and then get back under it. And it's much easier if you can keep it moving. There's 3 adjustments on this thing that you got to do. There's the cable, well, 4 actually, but the important ones are 3. You got the cable adjustment, and you've got the high and the low on that thing. So basically, your high is going to bring it up, you know, to your lowest gear, and or your highest gear, and then your low gear is going to bring it up to the highest on that and not jump over it. So it's like a limiter at the end of the gear, so you don't push it off the gear. So those things are really just limiters, and then the in-between is really your cable, getting the cable perfect. And it's a little bit of a trick to get it perfect all the way through the gears, because it tends to, if you got it good on the high side, then it's not good on the low side. So you got to kind of get it in a nice medium position there. You know, I've got the one camera tonight, and I did it for a reason, because I've been having so much trouble with these cameras and the audio on the thing. And I can see now with the one camera, I got the screen on the back, and it's close enough to me that I can see the audio on it, so I know the audio is working. I gotta tell you, not to get off subject here, and I always get off subject, you know, I did the review on this bike, and I think I made it too long, but I'm gonna go back and I'm going to leave that one there, because my daughter, you know, she said, "Dad, leave it alone, because if somebody's gonna buy this bike," I did a very in-depth, you know, assembly. I did a lot of explaining. She says, "Dad, this is what I would want to hear if I was interested in buying that bike." So she said, "You can't take it down and shorten it." So, make this corner. One of the things I've got ordered for this bike, I thought they were kind of goofy at first, and but I saw it on another friend of mine online. He actually lives out in San Francisco, but he did a video of it on his bike, and I went, you know what, that's not really that bad. So, you know, the directionals, and I don't know, people would appreciate it, I guess, if I could tell them. I'm on the road all the time, like I said, so. Yeah, it's like I said, the way this bike is set up, I'm in past 5 now. Like I said, it's very comfortable for me. I feel like I'm moving along good enough. It's not fast enough for me, and I know people are probably going, "What?" Yeah, I like to move. I like to put some mileage on. I normally go out 20 plus miles. If it's the weekend, I try to do 60, you know. Trucking up a hill, I got it in 6th gear. I'm going 18.5 miles an hour right now, and the battery, I'm not the battery, but the wattage was around 800, so it's working. I could shift down a little bit and pedal harder, I guess. Yeah, that dropped it down to 700, so I'll have to drop my speed down. Yeah, for a 20 amp hour battery, I thought it would last long, especially where it's 52 volts. But whatever, I'll make adjustments. If I have to add more than one extra battery, I will. Like I said, I run 86 point something amp hours on my bikes, only when I'm going out. One of my bikes, the dual battery bike, I could do this thing no problem, have half of it left, and I truck along at like 30 something miles an hour, so that bike is actually better on battery than this is doing right now. But like I said, you got to let the battery shake out before you make any judgment on them. And I might be able to go into the settings and change it a little bit. There's quite a few settings on that. You know, I did a, I haven't, it's not even edited yet, but I did one on the display here, and there's quite a few things I don't understand, so I kind of want to understand it more with the video so that I can explain everything. So I was slightly going uphill, started pedaling without hitting the throttle that time, and I knew it, you know. So I said I like to use the throttle when taking off like that. When you get going, then that's it. That's the only thing I want the throttle for. I know there's a lot of people out there, you know, just drive around on nothing but the throttle, but hey, it's an e-bike. That's what you want to do. Knock yourself out. You know, a lot of people crucify them for it. Christ, at least they're out there doing something, you know, not sitting home and watching Family Feud. It's the one bad thing about people parking in the streets. I did cut off a little bit. It's still light, so I'm probably going to pedal around these neighborhoods a little bit and get the full 21 miles on it. So we're at about 18 now since we started. Like I said, I went out the last time, did 21. I know where the battery was the last time. At this point, we're ahead of the game, but we still got another a couple miles to put on here before we're at that 21. It's off now. These are the roads I have to deal with in New Hampshire. That's why I wanted full suspension. So the only thing I feel right now is my tool bag hitting me in the back. So how you doing? So 900 watts on that thing because I was in wrong gear coming up. Even though I was pedaling, it didn't like it. But I was busy staring at all the holes in the road down there, trying to negotiate that corner before I realized I was headed up a hill. So we presently have 1.5 miles to go before we're at the 21 mark. Again, I'm playing with the pass controls now, so Going up a hill, just knocked it down to 3. I get it in gear 4. It's a pretty decent hill. It's taking me up at 10 miles an hour. I'm not pedaling too hard. If I drop it down into 3, same, pretty much. I mean, I'm pedaling a little bit easier though, but it's holding at the speed. Just realized I'm like, what is that bang bang noise? This little tick tick. I left the keys in it. I don't need to leave in it, but I really don't have my my pack all set up on this bike. I usually just leave the keys in my bag. Tell you, there's a good sized hill on the other side here. I think I'm gonna hit that, see how it does going up and hill. And like I said, it's a pretty good hill and going back. You'll see. I mean, I bet you this is 15 degrees anyways. Not coming up this side, it's a slower pace. So I've got it in past 3 with batteries down to 39. This thing, again, past 3, this thing's gonna suck me right up the hill. I mean, not going crazy, but I'm 14 miles an hour and still speeding up. 15 miles an hour now. So yeah, this, like I said, you gotta be impressed with the torque on this bike. We're gaining on the mileage here. I think the battery's going to end up in better shape this time than it was, and I started out with not a full battery. So, like I said, maybe the battery thing was just the battery. They say you got to charge it like 3 times or whatever for the battery to. You know, I'm not that I haven't looked into it. Let's put it that way. I'm not sure what the battery needs to do, but they do say you should drain it down once in a while and then give it a full charge, and you know it helps the battery balance itself out. So you know, maybe that's what the problem is. I mean, I'm not saying it's like way better than it was the last time, but it's better. And I started with 100% the last time. Started with 92 or something this time, 93, 92, I forget now. And I'm running the lights. I wasn't running the lights the last time. If you're interested in one of these bikes, you're not going to be disappointed with this bike. I'm critical on my batteries. Not everybody is. Most people say, you know, I get 1,000,000 miles out of my battery, but they drive it different than I drive. I mean, not only do I have a lot of hills to negotiate, stops, starts, but the speed that I want to crank at is really eating up the batteries also, and I know that. So, but you know, like I said, different people ride bikes for different things. There's literally people out there that buy an e-bike because they want to see how many miles they can get without recharging their battery. You know, I see them on Facebook all the time. I went out for a 30-mile ride and my battery is only 1 bar on it, you know. This one gives you a percentage and not bars. The other bikes that I have bars on them. This is a pretty aggressive hill here, I'll tell you. Let's see if this thing can handle the throttle. I'm at 8 miles an hour, 7. It's going down, but I can feel the bike picking up a little bit. I mean, it's up to 8 again. 8.5. All right, made it up the hill. You will not be disappointed in this if you're worried about throttle. Of course, that just ate at the battery a little bit, I can tell you. It'll probably recover. It's already recovering a little bit. So when you use your battery like that, you you know, it drains the battery and then it recovers a little bit. So we have our 21 miles in. We actually have a little bit more than 21 in. And there's a headlight on this thing. So, you know, it seems sufficient, I guess. If I'm going to ride this thing at night, I'm probably going to add another light to it, though. But, hey, it's not bad. A lot of the bikes got way worse lights than that. Lights are terrible on these bikes. Not this bike, but some of those other bikes I got in there. If you can see those. That green one in the end there, that's a custom bike I built. That's got, that's all-wheel drive. It's got front-wheel motors in it. It's got a 15 watt hub motor in the back, and it's got a 1,000 watt motor in the front. So, and it only does about 30 miles an hour, but it does 30 miles an hour all the time. All right, this is it.